All righty. Um, Here we are. Um, to watch the rollover together. Hello, everyone. It's early in the morning, so just a little impromptu uh, live stream. I guess I just thought I would uh, collect my thoughts here. Sorry, uh, a little froggy groggy here. Um, it's been a really incredible journey. Um, I know that sounds kind of cliche, uh, but um, it's been interesting and it's been wonderful to um, get all the comments and uh, know that this channel is helping so many people around the world. I mean, literally around the world. Somebody wrote to me from Poland, asking about one of the downloads, and it's incredible. You know, I get messages from, I mean, literally everywhere. All right, and it's such a reminder of the global community that we have. Um, and I haven't told my story much here, but since we're just watching the count here, um, I partly like doing the channel, or not partly, but um, forgive me, I'm losing my words. It's the middle of the night here, 3:30 a.m. Where I am locally, but I maybe told a little bit of this, but I can't remember now that I got to reunite with my original cello teacher who gave me lessons for free and did that for 2 years. So I knew him for longer than that. I knew him for 3, 4, 5 years, and knew that my family couldn't afford lessons, and never took money for them, and it had a profound impact on me because just knowing that there are people out there that um, love classical music, that love cello, that want to learn this art form just like I did, that need a free resource, a good quality free resource, um, to help them learn. And knowing that I am, paying it forward, I hope that I'm paying that forward here. Um, I really, really like that. I really, that's something that has continued to, you know, give me energy, and give me strength and hope through all this, to give back, in the way that it was given to me, when I was a teenager. Um, Because yeah, I wouldn't be sitting here. There would be no cello online. There'd be no Clay McKinney on YouTube, if it wasn't for Spencer Brewer, um, and those cello lessons. And of course, now that I sit here and say that, he's not the only one. It's like, where, because sometimes I wonder, like, where did I get this love of this music, of playing, the cello, and um, I did have also in my life, all those formative years, an incredible youth orchestra director whose name was Yvonne Collins. And, I think back about her now, and what an incredible love of orchestral music, you know, both just classical. Um, every once in a while, she would throw in like a fun, like Broadway or something kind of adjacent, but pretty much we played a lot of standard repertoire. Um, some arrangements, um, a lot of arrangements. It was a youth orchestra, but um, yeah, just a lot of the great pieces. Like when I was a senior, doing William Tell Overture, right, and getting to play that solo at the beginning, like she was amazing, and she loved this music. I mean, she really truly loved classical music, and she loved bringing it to young people. She loved sharing her enthusiasm of classical music with all of us. I mean, it's just, I think back now and it's like, my gosh, every Saturday for, um, however many years that I did it, um, of getting to experience that, of getting to experience how much fun it can be to play this music and um, to be in an ensemble. I mean, she was just, again, a person who had a just, so profound impact on my life. And I'm pretty sure our youth orchestra was free. Um, there's not really a lot of free ensembles left. Where I am, students pay a tuition to be a part of a group. Um, I think pretty much every single group that's around, you have to pay to be a part of. I don't, or if we did, of course, again, people probably took mercy on my family, because we just didn't have that much money. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody ever paid or not, or um, maybe just nobody asked. Um, but yeah, like one of those experiences where I would not be here. I would not be here loving cello and loving sharing it with all of you, um, if had I not, if I had not had these people in my life. Um, yeah. Who else was there? I'm trying to think of all of the teachers here through the years, through those formative years. Um, I do actually remember all of them. So, actually, Spencer Brewer was the first one. He was the teacher in 6th grade, and then also 7th and 8th grade. And then when I was in the 9th grade, a freshman, um, he became my private cello teacher. Then, upon entering the fine arts program, was a teacher named Beth Honer, who was also a wonderful, dedicated teacher who stayed there in Montgomery until retirement and put up with all of us teenagers during various trips and different things. What a saint she was there in high school. It was funny. We actually had a few teachers there at what was then the Carver Creative Performing Arts Center. It's now Booker T. Washington. It's now its own school. Um, it was called CPAC back then. Story for another time. We got bussed over there. It wasn't its own school. We had a home school, and we got bussed over for the fine arts stuff. But I had Miss Honer, Beth, for 1 year, uh, and then um, I actually went to Alabama School of Fine Arts. And when I came back from Alabama School of Fine Arts, uh, it was a person who was there on a 1 year contract. He was a violinist who had taken the job when the Alabama Symphony folded, and Kanesh was his name. What was his first name? He. I'm trying to think. I think his first name was Renee. Yeah, he was. He was always funny about his. He was a great guy and a wonderful musician. And my friend George, when I would ask, like, why is this guy so frustrated? Because he was not he was not a public school teacher. So maybe that's my maybe maybe he, I guess, was my example of here's what happens when you're just trying to make ends meet. And I as an adult now, I feel for him because the symphony folded. So I'm now remembering this whole interesting story. Um, Renee, wherever you are in the world, we honor you. Uh, what a great guy, because I definitely, was not used to putting up with a bunch of teenagers. But Renee Kanesh, and the Alabama Symphony had folded. Yes, it had reached, I don't know, bankruptcy. Just finances, and of course, now, as I was about to say there, and I interrupted myself. As an adult, and you just lose your job and needing to pay the bills and make ends meet, I'm sure I would have done the same thing. And so he was a super nice guy, and he was driving down from Birmingham to Montgomery to CPAC, to teach us. And he was the teacher my junior year. So I actually left the Alabama School of Fine Arts. Funny, I was in Birmingham shortly while he was driving to Montgomery. And then we were there in Montgomery together during the school day. And I do remember one particular scene where we were at the Museum of Fine Arts, because there's a recital hall there, and that's where we're going to put on our concert. And of course, we're all being, teenagers. And he got particularly uh, upset there for a moment because nobody was doing anything of what they were supposed to do. I can still see very vividly, um, in my mind, his reaction when he had given us some instructions, I guess, of what to do and where to be, and none of that. We were all too excited about being at the museum. It was our dress rehearsal. I mean, the concert went fine, but yes, of course, my memory is him. Just I can still see him like strolling down the aisle there, just like losing it on all of us for not being where we were supposed to be. What a memory. Um, and then he maybe somebody and I'd started to say this too, then I interrupted myself again. George, who was a wonderful violist and my friend there for so many years in Montgomery, we were talking about Mr. Kanesh and what his story was, and George had to remind me, he's like, this guy's an incredible violinist, right? He's like just amazing, and he was an incredible player. And he's coming down here to work with the likes of us. Which, I mean, shouldn't really say it that way, because we were, some of us were pretty serious about what we were doing. It wasn't all bad, but yeah, I can imagine this was not his foray. Somebody told me, or I think he ended up maybe in the Colorado Symphony or the Denver Symphony, um, there in whatever is there in that area. Um, yeah, and I'm sure he was, taking auditions and praying something panned out. Oh, I wish I could see him again. It would be great to see him again and recount the memories there. All right, so that was junior year. Senior year, also very, very important influence. And somewhere in there, um, they actually hired a low string specialist, who I started taking some lessons with. Her name was Audrey Cosgrove. She had been getting her DMA from University of Louisiana there in Baton Rouge. Great cello teacher there who I've heard play live, and I'm going to forget his name now. I just got to meet him. But Audrey, or Dr. Cosgrove, came and was my teacher a little bit there in high school. And I'm starting to remember that relationship as well. Our regular classroom teacher, because she kind of traveled around, she did some elementary stuff, and then we would kind of have a lesson every once in a while, and but our classroom teacher there, sorry, I'm thinking about Dr. Cosgrove. So many people that have influenced my life. Our classroom teacher was Hampton Kicklighter, who was an incredible human being, and deeply spiritual person, actually, and who, I guess, at some point we must have struck up a conversation about this. Because any teacher worth their salt in a public school classroom, which he was definitely worth his salt. He was a great man, great teacher. It's not going to sit there and preach and teach religion. That's illegal, actually. But I guess at some point we must have, happened upon a conversation about it, and clear that it was okay with me to broach that subject. And I guess we had many conversations. Of course, I wish now I could remember any specific one. I just know we talked about it a lot, because I do remember a gift that he gave me. He gave me a couple of books on the National Day of Prayer that I held on to for quite a long time. And yeah, what a great man. Again, loved classical music, loved teaching this music. And actually that was a special relationship, because my second semester, my senior year there, I actually got to be over at CPAC for 4 periods a day. The normal amount of time at then was 2 periods, right? Like that was your elective time, and you would just be there for both hours. And high school was not on any kind of block at that point. And you'd be over at CPAC for the 2 hours, and then come back to your home school. And so I was able to work out my schedule, and have this have a fine arts focus my second semester, my senior year, and get to take a double block there. And so I was over there for 4 hours a day, and I'm just remembering all sorts of things here as I chat to you all, watching the subscribers. I did actually do some teaching. I think he recognized, because I didn't realize as a high school student that part of being there full time was teaching the CPAC students, right? But then also teaching a middle school class from, because there was a middle school actually connected to the high school, like physically connected. Because I remember this, there was actually a door that had like a not a barricade, but I think it was chained, because schools mixing, intermingling, is not really a thing. But I guess the building was so huge they had converted part of it, or something. Somehow they were connected. Anyway, so I guess because CPAC was there, housed in this high school building, they kind of made an exception, and then there would be this class of middle school students who would walk over, cross the border, if you will, and take a strings class. Of course, I didn't know that till I was there for 2 blocks a day, and he would actually get me to help teach part of that class. I mean, I would get to practice. That was part of why I was there. But he recognized, you know, the ability that I had, and that I could do a few things. And yeah, and I remember, he just kind of thrust me into it. I guess that was the first time I started teaching, when I was a senior in high school. As I can remember standing there in front of that ensemble and working on rhythm and pitch, and staying together. And I'm trying to remember now. It's like, do I remember feeling uncomfortable? I guess I guess if I felt uncomfortable, there were a couple of times where maybe I was up there for the whole class, and I was thinking I should be practicing. But maybe I wasn't that great of a practicer anyway. Maybe that's the other reason he threw me up there. But I don't remember like being uncomfortable or feeling like there was something I didn't know how to do. Like I just did it. I just got up there and I was teaching. Yeah. Pretty incredible. Hampton Kickladder, what a great man. What a great man. He was a great teacher, a great musician. Loved music, loved making music with us. And he was actually there for several years. Of course, I graduated. I only got to be with him for 1 year, but he was there for a few years. And that was high school. That was grade school and high school. And we're still going. Still at 9. 99999. What other stories can I tell you? Of course, the professional formative years, all of the really high level playing, all of the big cello skill stuff came from, of course, Carlton McCreary, playing at the University of Alabama for all those years. Gosh, I was there from 96 until 2003 in that program, with a couple of semesters, leaving to come back to Montgomery. But actually, I was there only one. I was only gone 1 semester, actually. So, yeah, 6.5 years I was there in Tuscaloosa studying cello. And, so many profound experiences there, and just being pushed in my knowledge, in technique, learning pop etudes, learning orchestra excerpts, honing the skill. And he was tough. He was really, really tough. I can remember some tears, just having some breakdowns. It happens when you're being pushed to the edge there. Especially when I did not pass my pre-recital for my junior recital. And that was a big growth moment. because at some point when you're playing this music, and this is maybe the greatest lesson he ever taught me, by failing me on that pre recital, and which was like, why are you not doing what's on the page? There it is. It's like we're getting out, we're playing this music, we're doing it, but are we pretending? Right? Are we like one of my favorite quotes from the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes stuff? It's like, are we kind of looking at the audience and winking and saying, okay, I know, there's all this stuff on the page. Just come along with me and let's pretend we're all having a classical music concert, wink, wink. I think sometimes that's how we're playing and learning, right? Or are we like actually believing that what we are doing is worthwhile and we really want to bring this piece to life? And like, yes, actually, in this Brahms E minor sonata, this incredible piece that has all of these crescendos and decrescendos and articulations and all of these wonderful things going on, do I really believe that I should, try to do them on stage? And it wasn't necessarily technique. I mean, we'd done all that, and we had a lesson after the, failing the pre-recital, pre-audition, whatever it was. I'm forgetting the exact title, I feel like. And we were sitting there in the lesson, and there I was doing all the things, and he's just looking at me perplexed, like, why didn't you do them on stage? When we needed to hear it. And I just broke down. I was like, I don't know. I didn't have a good answer for that, like why I hadn't done them. I just hadn't done them, because that's the culture that we're stuck in, and perhaps why I'm inspired to be a teacher, because I remember what it was like. I was there. But we do get stuck in this thing where we're just like kind of just playing notes, and we just forget, right? I mean, I think that's such it sounds nuts, but it's just such a huge thing where we just forget to make music and forget to do the stuff on the page, because we're not inspired, or we think it's not important, or we don't really understand what this whole art form is. And it has nothing to do with ability or technique or, what we've learned, what we know, or how much we've practiced. It's just completely mindset and culture, which is why people talk about mindset and culture so much, because it does happen. And there's the rub, there's the conundrum, like just mindset and culture, which some people just, of course, poo-poo and say that's just all, psychobabble. You do have to, you do at some point have to have some underlying technique. You do have to have some learning in there. But I had done all that, I'd done all that, to get there, to learn the piece, to know it. Just didn't do it on stage. I mean, eventually I did. Of course, I did better, and I did pass, and did do the recital. But had to live through that horrible feeling, and have that tremendous growth moment there, to understand the difference. Yeah. So, and of course there was like another year there. That was a junior recital. That was in April of 2002. And then 1 year went by, studying some more, and senior recital, pre-hearing. There it is. That's finally came up with the name of it. I think I passed the pre-hearing the first time for my senior recital. Thank goodness. And But something interesting, again, all these profound, wonderful things that I'm just lucky. Um, well, lucky, not lucky. Somebody watching out for me. Uh, Definitely a greater power that one day I hope to understand a little bit better. I try to understand it a little bit every day, but I met the members of the 5 o'clock band there in April of 2003, and I actually went on a retreat. Not sure any wise musician would do this, but I never have called myself the traditional musician. That's for sure. I decided to go on a retreat right before my senior recital. Yeah, um, probably not the wisest thing to do, looking back, but actually it was the wisest thing to do. It turned out to be one of the best decisions of my entire life because I met the 5 o'clock band. Or I met two members of the 5 o'clock band, uh, Sharon and Dwight, and again met people just like, you know, Spencer, and then Beth, and then Renee and Hamp, and Yvonne, and then Carlton, and then now I'd met Sharon and Dwight, and I'm gonna get a little emotional here. And again, once again, was surrounded by people who saved my life, you know, like showed me something that I needed at that time. Just like, meeting Carlton there. Let me back up. I had met Carlton. I went to Alabama School of Fine Arts. Didn't like it. Just wasn't for me. Would have probably been a better cello player, but just that whole culture of the school. It was a fine school. It was a great school. It's one of the best schools there is. But anyway, I came home, and I actually met Carlton after moving back home. Yeah, I met him when I was a junior in high school. But anyway, so it's 2003. I meet Sharon and Dwight, and the whole college experience, as I mentioned, Carlton was tough, and it's it's like your muscles being broken down in a workout, right? You go, you exercise, and you kind of tear everything down, and um, in order to form something new, there's definitely there's definitely an analogy there because you learned all these skills, got better, learned all this stuff about cello playing, but then didn't have a job, didn't have any prospects for grad school, and um met Sharon and Dwight and started playing in the 5 o'clock band in the church service there at Cathedral Church of the Advent in Birmingham. And did that from 2003 until I moved to St. Louis in 2012. And um, and even beyond, even took some trips to Canoga after 2012. So I think the last one was 2015. And, over the course of that 12 years, they built me back up, like literally like put me back together. And I've said it a few times, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. I certainly wouldn't be Clay McKinney, cello player, anything, if it hadn't been for um, the 5 o'clock band, the whole crew, wherever you are in the world. I haven't spoken to you guys in a while. It's incredible that something is such an important part of your life, such an important part of just the fabric of your being. Like, it is a core part of who you are as a human. And it was yet I should say, it was one chapter, it was one season, and um It's 12 years. It's a good season, right? It's a good chapter. And I miss them all the time. I miss them so much. I miss playing with them. I miss the incredible musicians that they are. Um, miss the opportunities. Miss being with them. Um, miss their example. Because they taught me a lot more than just being a good musician. Yeah. Hmm. And then I was here in St. Louis um, since 2012. And this is a much bigger place. It's a wonderful place. I'm like, wow. And of course, life's a little different when you have, um, uh, well, there's work, there's school, which is incredible. You get to work in this incredible place with incredible kids and incredible colleagues, and then also thriving cello studio, private studio. Never thought I would do so much private teaching. I did a lot more playing and gigging in Alabama, and then here it's kind of a little switch, a lot more private teaching. Of course, I wouldn't give anything for it. The students are amazing. Um, but, working so much in the day and then having a thriving studio in the evening and on the weekends. Uh, I haven't ventured out to be able to have too many performance opportunities um, here in the area, just because of this is this is the this is life at the moment. And I know one day I'll get back to it. I'll be able to, because we have wonderful community groups here in the area. I did play with a couple of them in the very beginning, before our first child was born. Um, and I know that um, one day I'll be able to get back to it, and it'll be great. But this is the season right now. Um, but it really is in playing. It's in playing and being in ensembles. And of course, I've met some incredible people here in St. Louis. Some people that have been so supportive and so helpful. Um, there's been a lot of them, and wonderful colleagues at school. Um, yeah, but I do sit here and I think, when you're playing in an ensemble, and making music together, what a um, different vibe that is, and how the relationship is different when you're working towards that particular goal. It is a different it's a different feeling. It's a different relationship. Yeah, you're because you're focused on completely different stuff, and one's not better than the other. It's just um, I'm just reflecting now on the difference. Anyway, um, and then here I am. Here I am with all of you, about to cross 10,000 subscribers, and recounting all these memories as I sit here and reflect for a little bit, which is good. It's good to be here and chat to all of you as we watch the thing. All right. Well, maybe it's gonna happen. Maybe it's gonna happen. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. We've been sitting here for a minute. It says 9999. That's all right. That's all right. I might just sign off. I think here and um, remembering all of these amazing people with you. I think that's enough. I think I think that's enough of a celebration. Um, because I am lucky. I am incredibly I'm thinking about my current colleagues who watch out for me, take care of me in a big way, um, as well. You know who you are. And yeah, I've been very fortunate in this musical life. Very, very fortunate to be surrounded by some amazing people. Um, yeah. All right. It is now 4:08 a.m. in the morning. I should probably go back to bed, try to get some sleep here, and we will. I'll keep recording the the roll here, and so that we can make it happen. All right, have a GIF or something. Appreciate all of you guys out there watching this now very long live stream, and I hope you enjoyed the stories. And I am so grateful. I'm glad I did this so that I could remember these amazing, amazing people. Because I wouldn't trade anything. I can't imagine what else. I can't imagine what else I would do if I wasn't making music, playing cello. It's so important to me, obviously, and I hope that's obvious. And it's just, it's so important to share what I know out there. And I'm thinking now how none of it would have happened if it hadn't been for all these musical influences. Of course, now I am now guilty of a major mistake. We forget because we forget to thank the people closest to us. My parents, right? I've been sitting here talking about the other musicians, other teachers in my life that I made a lot of music with. I guess that's why I inadvertently, of course, none of this happens unless you have support at home. And of course, I did. My dad was not a musician, though. He loved the arts, loved creativity, which is why he was excited to help buy the cello. And of course, my mom is an incredible musician, not a professional musician, but you know, she played in college. She was actually a music major. She could have been a professional musician. She studied to that level. Um, just doesn't have the degree. All right, has all the knowledge, has all the ability. Um, and we did get to play together. We played. We would do duets. Um, we would. She would play piano, and we would play together for various things. Think about it, and the things that she passed on to me. As a human being, actually working in the cake shop with her, I think had just as profound an impact on me, seeing how she interacts with people, how she has this servant mentality where she is there to serve her customers. She loves what she does. She loves seeing the joy that she brings to people, and how your profession, what you choose to do, what you choose to spend your time on in this life, it matters. It actually really does matter, because you can have an incredible impact on this world if you want. And she has, with her cake business and the happiness that she brings to people, by doing what she does. And that, as much as a love of music, is just, I mean, it's equally important. It's everything, right? I mean, that is everything. You don't make it through this life unless you have somebody like that. I guess that's why I forget, because I'm recounting all of these musical things, and I forget that, well, of course, she gave me the gift of music. She is an incredible musician. I mean, she is she is a stickler for getting things right. But this other stuff, about just navigating the world. And so I guess, she's one of the people that gave me two gifts, music and this other aspect of life. I should remember that more often, for sure. All right. I appreciate you all out there. Appreciate you being supporters of the channel. And we will celebrate again. I think it's going to happen. This is Friday Central Daylight Time. You're seeing this. I think we're going to have the Q&A celebration. Make sure you post your questions. Either you can comment on this video, or you can, in the community section of the channel, leave a comment. Email me questions. Want to do a Q&A. Oh, now I'm yawning. It's late. Okay. And we will do that probably Saturday morning. All right. And have the official 10,000 subscriber celebration. Thank you, guys.